If I feel like I'm going to come too fast, I usually just think about Dave. So.
See, I think about Prince Fielder, who used to play for the Brewers. Like, I swear to God, nothing works better than Prince Fielder from the Brewers. Think about him rounding the bases and falling on his face.
Baseball turns me on too much. I don't know much about baseball, so when I think about baseball, I just picture, like, the dudes wearing friggin' really sexy dresses, and they're all looking plump. And
why dresses and not, like, a uniform?
It's a dress uniform.
Yeah, it has their name on the back.
Okay.
But they're looking fine as hell. So as far as I'm concerned, Prince Fielder got back, and that's not
I'll send
working.
you the video that I'm thinking of at some point. I swear to God, it'll change your life, or your sex life at the very least.
All right.
First.
Well, yeah, real quick before anybody says anything else, I'm about to start recording, but we're rolling.
Oh, okay. Shit. Hello and welcome
we
to
were
the
all
Cage
jamming out
Fight
that time.
podcast. Yeah, well, it's been a while. Like for the listener, we have a couple of episodes backlogged generally, so in case we miss a recording week, and we have missed like a month. So,
I know most of your names still. But I mean, honestly, that song just gets better every time anyway. So
it's a damn jam.
If I hadn't heard it in 2 days, I'd still be rocking out.
Oh yeah. Rounding the bases as
Cage
we were
Fight
talking about
podcast.
Baseball, so, right across from me at I got to first base with him. I think is Mike.
At least, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be more than first base.
Oh shit!
You are about to join
Jamming out
G-Force,
again.
the government's most elite team of spies, on a top secret mission. In 3, 2, 1.
G-Force, Delta Formation.
You bitches! You bitches! This is murder!
I'm honestly not sure which version this is.
You'll all be guilty! And you're doing it for nothing! Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey!
Okay, now I know.
I got a feeling.
Hell yeah. Shout out to G-Force Gang. I'm still Mike. And the G-Force Gang is actually merging with the Christmas Carol crew as of this episode. But I don't want to give too much away. And I guess a quick update on where the G-Force Gang is at. We have gotten the Disney World ride approved. It's going to be a giant hamster ball that falls out of a cage and into a garbage can.
If you picture those like slingshot rides, it's kind of like that, but straight down.
Straight down. And haven't heard much about
Kind of like that movie's box office performance, right?
Okay,
After the opening weekend.
Let's not.
Cult classics usually do bad.
We're
in the
not.
theaters.
We're not here to slander anybody's good name or great name because that's what the G in G-Force stands for.
Oh.
But yeah, we
Why would they lie like that?
don't have any updates on the G-Force 2/G-Force reboot yet. We do have the rights. We do have a few people in talks, but
In
Hollywood.
TED Talks?
Yeah. Actually, this is going to be super dated by the time this comes out, but Disney actually just nixed Spider-Man to make more room for G-Force in their budget.
Oh shit!
So
It's weird in the new like Avengers reboot post Endgame. G-Force is headlining.
yeah, it's going to be.
Wait, are they performing a show? Are they doing Black Eyed Keys? Black Eyed Peas song?
the Black Eyed Keys.
Well, you know how like
Yeah.
Iron Man kind of like was the forefront of this whole wave of Avengers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
G-Force is leading the way.
Oh.
Yeah,
There's
instead of
rumors that the Black Eyed Peas are going to get back together just for G-Force, but
yeah,
we'll see
and
how it goes.
they're actually that supergroup, the Black Eyed Keys. They're going to be doing a Ford commercial.
It's Will.i.am and Patrick Carney. Or whatever.
I think Alicia Keys is involved somehow.
Yeah, too.
They're not actually going to record any music. They're just going to get in Twitter beefs with famous singers. So, yeah. I can't remember what I was talking about. But
So we watched National Treasure
watched-
2.
Oh yeah.
We
Well,
watched
first we
National
got to
Treasure.
finish introducing ourselves. I got to first base with Mike. I got to second with Zach, and I took Dave all the way home.
Oh shit!
And that's the guy upstairs. And then I am annoying. So good to meet you.
Gosh. That's of course Nick on the ones and twos here. He doesn't want to say his name because he did change it to annoying.
I did.
But I don't like calling him that. It feels.
I
Weird.
just don't like calling him.
Oh shit!
He never returns my calls, and it's getting really sad.
And just to
The
just
night
to
we
clarify-
shared, Zach, at second base was magical.
Welcome to the Therapist Podcast.
Yeah, and I did get to fourth base with Zach, and I think that is one of the bases. It's in between home and third.
I don't think I was awake for any of this.
Well, fuck, trying to cancel Cage here and cancel myself. So let's.
I got attacked by hornets the other day, and I just wanted to let everyone know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that he did.
I heard about this. How did you anger the hornets? Was it your face or your smell?
Sex drive.
Okay. It was your just pure libido.
He was trying to teach him about the birds and the bees. And sadly, he was the one who learned about the bees.
But the birds still won't fuck him. He's tried to fuck a bunch of birds. The bees got pretty pissed.
You bet your ass.
Can we talk about Nicolas Cage?
Sometimes. Okay, so today we're talking about A Christmas Carol and National Treasure 2 Book of Secrets. We haven't covered the first one yet, but this is the way the bracket's ordered.
Yeah,
Shut your fucking pile, okay?
It's major spoilers for National Treasure 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah. You've probably seen National Treasure. Honestly, if anyone's seen a Christmas Carol, I can't think. Okay, if anyone's seen a Nicolas Cage movie, it's probably National Treasure, right?
Yeah.
Or
National
maybe
Treasure, or I think Face Off.
Face Off.
I think it depends how old you are.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, or Zandali or Christmas Carol. Yeah.
I think we'll start off with A Christmas Carol because chronological order. That's usually what I do. This one came out in 2001, a little bit
Okay.
before the National Treasure.
You mean 9/11?
Before the National Treasure of 9/11.
I couldn't even. Let's take that again. Right.
Please cut that.
This came out in 2001, right before the National Treasure. That was 9/11.
Yes,
Oh,
even though this is a Christmas movie, they released it in late August.
Christmas Carol is about the famous Charles Dickens story, A Tale of Two Cities. Best of times, worst of times.
Written by Herman Melville.
And in the movie, Nicolas Cage plays. I hate this movie.
I do too.
Nicolas Cage plays Sylvester Scrooge, and
Wait, is his name really Sylvester? I didn't even know
It's
that.
Ebenezer.
Oh, Ebenezer, duh.
his name
How
is
did I
Sylvester
fuck-
Scrooge, and he kills a mockingbird.
My brain is not working. I knew he was
Kills a
Ebenezer.
mockingbird.
And starts a fight club. So that pretty much covers all the best books.
Yeah, everyone knows A Christmas Carol. We're not going to get super into the plot. You know the fucking plot. All right, we'll talk about a few things there. But
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, etc., etc. Yeah.
this movie came out in 2001. It's rated PG. Directed by Jimmy T. Murakami, who, if you didn't know, also made The Snowman, a movie which terrified the living shit out of me when I was 4 years old for some reason. It's basically, like Jack Frost or whatever it is where they bring him to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, except this has no words, and there's a creepy-ass snowman, like, carrying around a kid and flying with him, and when I was 4 years old, this did not make me happy. This made me scared. He also
It sounds
made
terrifying.
When the Wind Blows, which I've heard is very good. Looks interesting. Haven't seen it. It's a movie about, like, a couple in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, or as the world is ending around them. Another animated movie. Yeah. Anyways, then he made this. This sucks. Production companies, there's a billion of them. There's Pathé, Illuminated Film Company, Film 4, Winchester Films, and the United Kingdom Film Council. So the UK government had a hand in this atrocity.
And that's why we are pro-Brexit.
Yeah, because we want to save the EU from further things like this happening. And, yeah, I don't know. This is probably the worst atrocity the UK government has committed since they invented concentration camps in the Boer War.
Wow.
I'd say it's a toss-up between the two.
Runtime of 81 minutes, budget of £6.1 million, which I didn't bother to convert. I don't know what that is. It's
That's not
probably like
even
$11
money.
million or something. Yeah.
That's like fucking...
What's next? Are they going to start measuring budgets in kilograms?
Yeah, it's like, what do? They put the fucking reel on a scale?
I say we use washing machines.
Yeah, I like that.
We use them to measure distance. We might as well use them to measure the weight of a movie.
Measuring the size of a hole in washing machines. So this was straight to DVD and VHS, so it doesn't have a box office gross available. I have no idea how much money this made, based on the fact that no one I know has ever seen or heard of it.
We've
I'm
all
gonna
heard
guess-
of A Christmas Carol.
Well, yeah, but
just not this one specifically.
Yeah, not this version. I'm gonna guess it wasn't a hit, and when people wanted to watch A Christmas Carol, they watched the one with fucking Captain Picard or...
Okay, I think we have to get this clear right now. What is your guys' favorite Christmas Carol version?
There's so many. How do you pick just one?
I know my favorite right off the bat.
Muppets.
No. 1970, Albert Finney. It's the musical one. It's so good. It's the best Scrooge ever, and I will fight anyone about this.
I have never seen that, so I can't put my
Then
opinion
you are
on it.
missing out. It's the best Christmas Carol story there is.
Well, we should have watched that instead of this. I mean, Nicolas Cage was barely in this, so like, fuck it.
I may have watched a few scenes from that one just so I could like A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, enjoy it again and not remember that it's terrible. My favorite version, I don't really know. I saw it as a play once as a kid, and I do remember having a good time there. But I mean, it was a play. I was 12. When I was 12, I liked a lot of really stupid shit too. I think I was, I was really into like corn. So like,
Not the band, just the food.
yeah, just the food.
Which actually, if you were into the band Korn does the music for the musical version from 1971.
Time traveling.
Just a baby Jonathan Davis, rap scatting all over the place. I think my favorite iteration of A Christmas Carol, it might be the Muppets version, because that's the one that I always like. For me, the Muppets Christmas Carol is synonymous with just Christmas in general. And I think the only other one that I even feel is worth mentioning is the episode of Family Guy, where he goes through the Ghost of Christmas, Past, Future, whatever. Actually, I'm realizing now that was an extremely racist episode. I think about Hanukkah. So if The Simpsons did some version of it, I'll pick that one.
Okay.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger with Turbo Man.
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
Booster too.
Well, that's not a Christmas Carol. It's just a great,
Sinbad's in
great
it, too.
Christmas movie. Yeah, Sinbad is in it.
I mean,
Yeah,
if we're just
it-
talking about Christmas movies, you got to bring up Die Hard.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
One of the best Christmas movies.
See, if we're just talking broad favorite Christmas movie, I have no idea what that might be, but I would say Jingle All the Way is it's pretty close. It mirrors the themes of Christmas Carol. You got
It's a metaphor for a Christmas Carol.
yeah. Instead of Tiny Tim, you got Sinbad is Big Ass Tim. Instead of Ebenezer Scrooge, you have Arnold Schwartzy. Scrooge. I don't.
Where you
It's
going with that one, Mike?
Schwarzenegger Scrooge.
it's there. I'm not great with coming up with fan theories, but I did read about this one, and it's out there somewhere. So
Yeah. For me, honestly, at this point, retail ruined Christmas for me. Most of what I associate Christmas with is large amounts of shoppers and messes.
And
Yeah.
fucking Beyonce.
honestly,
I
my
mean-
favorite part about Christmas is not the movies or the music; it's the capitalism. So
I will always love Christmas, and it's a great time of year.
it is.
I do love
And I
goofy
work
Christmas
retail.
songs. It's true, you do work retail. I have started to lighten up to it again since I've left my retail jobs, and I do like a lot of. There was like a pop punk Christmas album that came out like the mid 2000s. It's got some solid stuff on it. There's a mashup of Lil Wayne and the Nutcracker that remains to this day my
A
favorite
million
Christmas
Nutcrackers?
song. Yes. Also, Ludachristmas.
Let's not forget the modern Christmas hit, the Return of East Atlanta Santa by Gucci Mane. Probably my favorite Christmas thing ever.
Oh,
So
wait, did you hear the Death Row Christmas song that has like Snoop Dogg?
yes,
And,
that is a classic. I honestly forgot that existed.
What about Ludachristmas?
Ludachristmas
We
is
have
great.
already brought up Ludachristmas, so that's why we're looking for a
Someone
new
obviously
engineer.
isn't listening.
I mean, he's supposed to be keeping this shit on track, and he doesn't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
I'm
So
just
He's just fucked.
he's just fucked.
We fucked now.
He thought Jingle All the Way was a Christmas Carol, and I tried to be nice and tie the two together.
Hey,
but-
to be fair, I was actually listening at that point, and I was trying to pass off Jingle All the Way as a version of the Christmas Carol, but it fell flat because it wasn't funny.
Hey, it's okay. None of us are funny. I don't know why people listen to this.
I don't think anyone does. But if someone's gonna be funny, let's leave it to. Where's your cat?
She's
is
probably hiding because she
probably
hates everyone who isn't me.
I mean, I hate everyone who isn't you, and I hate you. So
Okay, plot summary. 3 ghosts. Ooh, visit miserly old man. Man donates money.
tag yourself.
Plot-
Which
plot
goes to you?
So there are some minor changes in this version from the typical tellings of A Christmas Carol. Like, for instance, in this one, I think... oh,
Why does he have 2 pet mice?
That's a good... Oh, okay,
Oh,
only
God.
one of those pet mice was his. The other was from the hospital, and
Oh,
it became
I'm
friends
sorry.
with his mouse.
Why are there 2 mice regardless?
I don't know. That is a big thing I
and
was
they
wondering.
hang out in his pocket, and it's just like... And they don't add anything to this story. It's just like every so often they'll show a scene with the mouse doing something.
Like, hey, worst case scenario, if this movie flops, we could like sell a cute shirt with the mice on it. But even the kids hated that. So
Yeah, I think they were trying to appeal to children with the mice, but I don't think it worked.
yeah, it was
I-
just
Also, like, Scrooge really loved the mouse that was in his house, too, for some reason. That just seemed super out of character for Ebenezer
Yeah.
Scrooge. It just didn't make any sense. Like,
Like they bring him like a letter, and he's like, "Oh, good mouse," and like pets it. It's just like,
Good
what
little
are you
buddy.
doing?
this movie serves to humanize the Scrooge. You know,
But that's the whole point of the movie is that he's like so detached and becomes attached by like looking at his past.
but we don't want to scare these kids with detachment. All right, we're gonna put them.
We're gonna tell the same exact story, but this time there are 2 mice.
We're gonna get to the message right off the bat. So everybody's on Scrooge's side.
Speaking of scaring kids, in this version, and I don't know if this is normal, but I don't remember it in other versions, Scrooge gets a children's hospital shut down because the main doctor who works in it has debt to him. So, like, the debt collectors come up, or the cops haul away the doctor to prison because this is at a time when there were still debtors' prisons. And while that's happening, the cops are laughing maniacally about this. And then one of the debt collectors literally goes into the room and just starts scaring the children, going, boo, ha ha ha. They all scream and he's laughing. And it's like, what the fuck?
Because there's nothing funnier than scaring a bunch of sick kids.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, even when I was a kid, there was nothing funnier than scaring the shit out of all the other kids, right?
Yeah. But, yeah, so a lot of this is like Belle, Scrooge's old lover, wrote him a letter saying like, hey, you shut down a hospital and kids are dying. Like, and then the mice trying to get him to read the letter. The mice didn't have to be there. It could have just been, you know, like he hadn't read the letter yet. But for some reason, we gotta have some fucking mice.
I mean, where would his motivation come from? Definitely not the goodness of his heart, if not for these mice who are innocently trying to shove a letter in his face.
It's true. Even if all those ghosts show up, show him the error of his ways, those mice weren't there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe if the ghosts were ghosts of mice or something.
That's
maybe-
gotta be the...
Maybe they primed his heart for the growing 3 sizes. That's a Christmas Carol. For when the 3 ghosts come, it goes up a size each
Yeah,
time.
my
you know?
favorite part of A Christmas Carol is when Scrooge sneaks into all the people's houses and steals all their decorations.
My favorite character is Betty Lou Who. Yeah.
The reason this movie was 81 minutes instead of 90 is because they actually cut out a 9-minute sequence where the mice crawl into Scrooge's chest cavity and try to like widen where his heart rests. to make room for that Grinch
Oh,
reference.
really? Was that in the trivia section on IMDb?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's a
couldn't find
Wicker
the
Man
entry.
style.
Oh,
They
yeah.
cut
Deleted
the
scene.
good part,
Mhm.
and it's on YouTube somewhere. So
I do find it funny. The trivia section for this movie is just that guy who played Scrooge also was in Doctor Who. Like,
I couldn't find the trivia section in this on IMDb.
it's literally just one post saying
really?
that guy played in Doctor Who.
I tried looking for it. Yeah, I guess I looked it up wrong. There were too many versions of A Christmas Carol for me to find it. But yeah, it's just that's it. Okay.
yeah, and the
Well, now I'm glad I didn't find it. I didn't waste my time.
there was actually a second fact that the mice were played by Daleks, and that really translates through for me.
And Tiny Tim was a Cyberman.
Yes, that's yes.
Oh shit. Okay. So it was all about Doctor Who, essentially.
Yeah, this was basically just a big plug for Doctor Who.
Well,
Yeah, you should watch the Doctor Who episode based on A Christmas Carol more than this Christmas Carol movie.
I'd take that. So
Not enough mice.
Nicolas Cage in this movie plays Jacob Marley, which if you don't know A Christmas Carol that well, because I didn't remember who Jacob Marley was when I first watched this, but he is Scrooge's old business partner who died and passed away. He comes as a ghost and tells Scrooge that there's going to be 3 other ghosts that show up tonight, and then Scrooge is like, yeah, goes to sleep. And yeah, that's basically all Nicolas Cage does in this movie is get 2 minutes of screen time and talk all ghostly.
A ghost coming to tell you that other ghosts are coming.
He also tells him about his chain.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
He wears the chains
Of
now
his
in the
sins.
afterlife of his sins that chained him down in life.
Because you forge it link by link, yard
Yeah.
by yard.
Mm.
Because that's the quote that you should know.
I'm sorry.
Get
don't-
with the
Had me
Christmas
choked up.
spirit.
Like I said, the only thing I remember, well, like he said, the only thing I remember from this movie is from the story is like best of times, worst of times. You know.
Big ass Tim
Yeah.
killing a mockingbird.
Wait. You know, I think they had Big Ass Tim in Jingle All the Way. They had him wear some Big Ass Tims too.
Yes.
That was a good move. So Cage's performance in this, it sounds like he's not trying.
He really phones it in. It's just like, oh, I'm a ghost.
Yeah, he's really not putting much emotion into anything he's saying, and he's just says everything like, Scrooge, you're gonna get visited. It's like, you know, so stereotypical ghost. And then he has a hint of an English accent occasionally. But mostly it's not there.
I will say though, the ghost accent is probably his best accent work so far.
True.
What if it was a Louisianan ghost?
I really need one of those Creole ghosts.
Wait, he should be in the Haunted Mansion ride. If they ever make another Haunted Mansion movie,
honestly,
Louisiana ghost, it's perfect.
that's really right where he needs to be.
Yeah.
It's like they haven't seen half of his movies where he's in Louisiana.
But in general, well, almost all the voice actors in this movie don't seem to be trying too hard. Everything sounds like they just did like maybe one take, maybe 2. Just one take, 2 if like they fumbled the line and they were just like, cool, cut, print, we're taking that.
Yeah, it didn't feel super polished as far as animated features go. It's definitely no like G-Force. The Croods.
I will say G-Force had superior animation to this film, but
I did think it was weird. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, this must be like an old cartoon because it looks and is animated like a 70s, 80s cartoon.
mm-hmm.
And finding out it's from the 2000s, I was just like, wow, they
Yeah,
did not put a lot of
animation
effort
does
into this.
not really do the movie any favors. It kind of feels like one of those like Saturday morning religious cartoon type.
Have you
features.
ever seen the Zelda CD-ROM games, the Wand of Gamelon, or like anything like that?
I don't know if I have.
Because the
I haven't.
animation kind of reminds me of that, where it's like kind of weird over exaggeration movements, but like still trying to be realistic, and it just
Yeah.
comes off as weird. And that's what I got from all the animation from this movie. Is just like it just looks off
Yeah, it does
Uh,
seem dated in a
it-
weird way.
yeah.
for
It-
something
it
that was
definitely does.
2000. Like,
Yeah, for something from 2001, I would have totally believed that this was from like 1973 or something. But But yeah, the mouths don't really seem to move in time with the audio. They're just kind of flapping. You know what I mean? There was no syncing there. The characters' movements all look kind of awkward and clunky too, and not really very fluid. Another thing I wanted to point out, all the male characters seem well defined, but all of the female characters, if you notice this, they all look exactly the
Oh, yeah.
fucking same, except they have different colored hair and different colored dresses.
It was
It's
hard to
weird.
tell who a character was
Uh-huh.
before they like start talking and doing things.
Yeah, before they like someone addresses them by their name, you couldn't really tell who the hell it was. But yeah, not a big fan on the animation on this one, and it occasionally had like some weird like frame rate drops where it was just like you could see like the images changing, which could be done for stylistic effect, and they did seem to want to make a really trippy, weird scene with the ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, I did not. That like came out of left field, where it's just like, okay, Christmas present, everything's all like high and acidy,
Yeah,
and
they're
like
flying through the air. The colors are
he's
swirling.
like pouring the horde on people. And it's just like, what is
There's
happening?
nothing trippier than the present.
See, that was another thing that made me think it could have been from 1973. Because
Yeah.
if you've watched any animation from them, it always has a weird psychedelic part.
Yeah.
But
Honestly, I wouldn't be so overly critical on this movie if it wasn't a movie that's been done 1,000 times already.
yeah,
Where it's like,
and
if you're gonna try to do a Christmas Carol again, do something unique with it. Not two fucking mice.
yeah,
Yeah, there was really nothing to make this stand out. It seems completely pointless to have made, but it might have been the best movie I've ever seen. So
yeah.
Well, I know for a fact you've watched at least National Treasure 2, so
you don't know that.
I guess that's true.
I guess we can't verify that he's done his prep work for this episode, but
You weren't there. You can check my Letterboxd profile, but you can log any movie. So
another thing I was gonna say too is the sound design was pretty weird at sometimes, like the sound effects. There's a scene where I think when Jacob Marley first enters the room and a book's pages are like flapping in the wind, and the only way I can think to describe this is it sounds like have you ever prepared oatmeal on a stovetop? Like it makes like a noise, and I swear to God, that's what's going on as the pages are turning.
that's what books used to sound like.
You don't know about the great oatmeal books of the 1800s?
No, I guess maybe I should have learned about that. I should have done some period studies.
1700s? What was the same place?
I think it was the 1850s.
That
Yeah,
sounds
and-
right.
Industrial England.
Before in the 1800s, they didn't actually have paper yet. So what they would do for books is they would take the front and back cover and they would just smush a bunch of oatmeal in there, and the like brown sugar would kind of form words, and they would translate that into a story.
But yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about. The song that plays at the end of this, do you guys remember that?
I turned it off almost immediately.
I
sat and
can't think
listened
of
to
it. I watched this
Added in post.
too long ago now.
To be honest, I can't remember it like really at all. It just to me it's all the 90s movie songs like My Heart Will Go On and
Kiss from a
and
Rose.
I Will Always Love You and Kiss from a Rose.
I got a feeling.
Oh yes.
The best one. I miss the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't
I
want
gotta-
to miss a thing. Nobody's gonna mention that one.
Let's not. I'm not going to bring Aerosmith into this.
But yeah, clearly, well, you saying you missed the 90s. This was made in 2001, so clearly they were already missing the 90s too.
Man, they missed the 90s so much that they were basically probably listening to I Got a Feeling the whole time they were making this movie. So
Yeah. To be honest, that's pretty much most of what I have to say
Yeah,
about
all
this.
in all, like this whole movie would have just been a generic movie that was like meh, but the fact that it's a movie that's so overdone is just like, why even put out this trash?
I don't know who this is for or what purpose they felt they were serving by making it. It really feels like a movie that like you don't sit down and watch. You just put it on the TV so your kid will shut the fuck up and you can like go do your taxes or whatever.
This sounds. I think this is more like the movie where it's Christmas Day and like you have family over and you put on like one of those random channels. It's like Christmas movies all day, and this is one of them.
Yeah. This is like definitely like a movie that some random TV channel would play because that's what they could afford to get the rights to.
And no one is seeking out this movie.
Hey, maybe that's
Not
what they,
for sure.
Maybe that's what their whole business plan was with this investment. Was, hey, maybe we'll sell enough rights that the people who are buying it won't even have seen this movie that they're buying, so they're just getting it to put on TV. They see the title of Christmas Carol, they'll buy that up. Why not? This Christmas Carol's only $50 to buy in syndication. The other one's like $4,000.
And it's probably this one's easier to watch because it's shorter and you can just get right through it. Also, if you are intentionally seeking out this specific iteration of Christmas Carol, it's still hard to find. Like you search because it's called Christmas Carol the movie.
Yeah.
And even if you type in those words specifically, 10 other movies come up before this one.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck, I guess, if you're gonna try to watch
I think
this
you
one.
mean 10 better movies come up.
That's honestly probably true, and that's not saying much, but I'm sure 9 out of 10 of those movies are also trash. So
Yeah, I can't say...
There are a lot of good Christmas Carol movies.
that's true. I mean, there's more than there needs to be,
Oh, for sure.
which makes it even less necessary to watch this one.
But yeah, I will say that I don't really know what my favorite version of A Christmas Carol is, but I can tell you that this is probably my least favorite that I've seen thus far. So, which seems to be a rather common theme with a lot of the podcast up to this point, and it makes me upset that we've made this podcast about Nicolas Cage and haven't really had any good things to say about most of his work so far. So, like,
Please don't make that the quote for the podcast.
Cage Fight Podcast. This is the worst version of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Cage, if you're listening. I'm sure we're gonna get to your better work soon.
In Cage's defense, we did set this up so the worst movies were first.
It's true.
Yeah, and we got Gone in 60 Seconds coming up, which is for sure better than the original. And if you disagree, then you're a freaking boomer, and I'm gonna euthanize you. I don't know.
I think all you have to say is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is coming.
That's true.
Will I be coming when
Maybe.
I watch that?
In friggin' 8 seconds from now, dude. Got him.
Yeah. Fuck you.
You said it about yourself.
You know what I've been looking forward to recently is I've just found out a little more about a movie called The Rock that he's in with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Looks kind of cool. Want to see that.
I haven't seen that movie, but I have listened to a 3-hour podcast about it, so I feel prepared.
Okay.
It's apparently pretty good. I a lot of the people that I've told that I'm doing this, if it's not like, you know, the 5 other movies we talked about earlier, like Face Off, National Treasure, The Rock
Face Off
seems
is
to-
always the one that people tell me right away. It's like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I would say The Rock gets like 6th Man of the Year award, maybe.
But yeah. So don't watch A Christmas Carol. This version.
Don't watch Christmas
do
Carol,
watch A
the
Christmas
movie.
Carol, just not this one.
Yeah.
Watch the Muppets one.
Nope, Albert Finney, 1970.
You can watch that one too, but see, the Muppets one, the puppets in the chains and the 2 old guys in the balcony, and they're like, look at that ghost. It's good.
The song "Thank You Very Much" is so good in the 1970s one. They play it twice in 2 different versions of it. Spoilers. Where like one is when it's Ghost of Christmas Future, they're thanking him for dying because he was just this fuck that no one likes.
Damn.
Then at the end of the movie, when he like
Redemption.
starts being charitable and everything, they're saying thank you to him, and they redo the song.
I want to watch
neat.
that in backwards order.
You know what I'm gonna say though? Thank you. Next. I'm so fucking grateful this is over. This movie. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know that was shorter than usual, but we're gonna take a short little break, I think, and then we'll be back with National Treasure: Book of Secrets.
Yeah, that was short, but I feel like on the heels of last episode, we talked about the movies for like 2 seconds, and it was hopefully great. I don't know.
Yeah.
All our episodes are great, Mike,
That's true.
except the first 2 because I'm not in those.
Yeah, those ones are trash.
Oh yeah. I have to admit I'm not happy with those.
Treasure 2. It was a movie. It was good. And, well, it wasn't good, but it was fine. And next episode.
All right. Well, no. National Treasure 2, rated PG for parental guidance suggested. Came out in 2007. It's a hell of a year. We've talked about that year many times on this podcast before because he apparently was in a lot of movies early on in the bracket that came out in 2007.
Busy year for the man.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, was 6 years after the national treasure that was 9/11. And continue.
I believe that was the same
I
year.
really hope Nick cuts that.
Hey, man, he's the one who gets canceled, not us.
How's that That's not cancel worthy.
No, but then we all have to come out for an apology and be like, we don't condone what Mike says.
Well, we could just apologize right now.
I do not. I mean, I don't see what I should apologize for. So,
I feel you.
National Treasure 2.
Yeah, it came out in 2007, directed by John Turteltaub, who
That's a great name.
Yeah, it's a wonderful name, Turteltaub. Produced by Disney. No fucking idea this was a Disney movie, but it is.
I've said it on this podcast before, so you guys are canceled and not me now.
I knew it was a Disney movie.
Zach is uncanceled, but I have my
It
eye
probably
on it.
came up, but I definitely forgot it if it did.
It was in the infamous G-Force episode, I believe. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know when it was.
Okay.
We'll check our wiki
Yeah.
after this.
We'll make our wiki after this and then check it.
We don't have a fan-maintained wiki because
We don't have fans. Yeah.
But we will one day, and they will fucking retweet those links.
Oh, yeah.
30 years from now.
We'll be dead.
They're all just like, what's Twitter? Why do I have to tweet something on it?
Also produced by Jerry Bruckheimer Films, Junction Entertainment, and Saturn Films. Because I think right around this time, 2006, 7, 8, 9, that was when Cage created Saturn Films, and he was actually, every movie he was involved with, his production company was involved with too. I don't know when that falls off, because everything we've seen from the 2010s, Saturn Films hasn't been involved in, so maybe it closed down in bankruptcy, or he sold his part of it or something. I don't know.
think he just renamed it after Neil deGrasse Tyson declared Saturn wasn't a planet anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so he changed it to Mars.
And then he got sued by the Mars Bar Company.
And Elon Musk.
Runtime of 124 minutes. So it was 2 hours, which I gotta be honest here, felt like it was a little too long watching this.
Yeah.
I feel like
it was a little long.
Yeah. Well, I was getting towards the end, the parts that were actually interesting because they were in like the treasure chamber and stuff. I was like, man, I want this to end, and yet this isn't the part that's cool. Why didn't they cut like some earlier shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Budget of $130 million, a box office gross of $457 million, which means this one's in the black, baby.
Yeah.
This one's in the freaking black.
Reviews. This one actually had a Rotten Tomatoes entry. Tomato meter, 36%.
I think that's telling enough for a lot of these movies if it has an entry.
Tomato meter gave it a 36%, but audiences give this a 67%. The audiences dig this one.
Which, how could you not?
Mm-hmm.
That means 2 out of 3 of us liked it. Who's the naughty boy here?
I'm pretty sure it's Nick.
We'll see when the vote comes up, I guess.
Nick's a freaking Christmas Carol stan, so I used a little bias.
That's true.
That was actually my birth name. Christmas Carol Stan.
We just call him Carol.
Good old CCS in the house.
Trivia. Little fun facts. Experts were actually brought in to match the handwriting of Abraham Lincoln, Queen Victoria, and Calvin Coolidge on all the fake documents they had involving those people, which added so much to the film that
what a great detail
Yeah.
to spend time on.
I, as a handwriting analyst, looked at that and I knew right off the bat that, wow, that really looks like Queen Victoria's actual handwriting.
It was actually a very complicated process because Abraham Lincoln famously wrote in wingdings. So
Yeah, he was the originator of that, actually.
not easy to translate.
Yeah, they wanted to call him Linkledingles, but there was an issue with the Lincoln estate, but
I have a fun fact for this movie.
mhm.
The little kid that what Nicolas Cage, I forgot his character name.
Ben
Franklin
Gates.
That's it. The little kid when he's at the White House that he like argues with is the little kid who plays Little Sean in Psych.
Oh,
Wow, and that kid
And I watch a
is-
lot of Psych, so
That kid was played by Zach. We got him right here. That's what this has been
I did a
leading up
pretty
to.
good job, if I do say so myself.
So, what was it like being on the set of National Treasure 2 and knowing that your career probably wasn't going to go anywhere from there?
Well, I was a kid actor in
Yeah.
a movie, so I think you know where this is going.
So,
you were looking forward to all the debauchery and the cocaine-fueled breakdowns that the paparazzi were going to take care of.
yeah, how many favors did you have to do to get that role?
No, see, it's okay because there's no Bryan Singer.
Oh,
Yeah, well, back then he was Brian.
That's the
spoken
joke I
word.
was fishing for. By the way,
Yeah, I felt it was. I didn't want to get there just yet. I wanted
yeah.
to.
I mean, Bryan Singer's been a little pushed out of my head, and I've been thinking more about Jeffrey Epstein lately, I think. But
May he rest in peace. we
Well,
all
that's it.
needed a breather. That was a moment of silence for the app.
So, another fun fact here. At one point, snow fell on the outdoor set, and the crew used fire hoses to melt the snow on the pavement so that they would have continuity between shots, which, interesting choice. I get how that would rapidly melt snow, but what about the ice that would form from the fire hose water?
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel
clearly
like-
they figured it out, I guess, but
I mean, obviously, they could have used a flamethrower, but
that would have been the move.
why not? Then you have any excuse to buy a flamethrower and write it off.
Yeah,
Really
it's a
seize
work-related expense. Man, I gotta find ways to do that.
Is there a way that we can, if we took down this wall, it would probably be easiest to do it with fire.
It's true. I think this is a load-bearing wall, but we can find out. It's a test, right?
We could hold up we could maintain the structural integrity of this building with more flamethrowers.
Yeah, I like
Work
it.
in progress.
Another little funsy fact, and I don't mean to keep talking over you if you have some, but
You're good. You're good.
okay. When the FBI enters the Library of Congress, if you look closely while they're holding guns,
Mhm.
guns drawn, got their, double fist in the pistols, they're not actually holding guns. If you look real close, they are pointing their index finger like a gun. I didn't notice this, but it's in the IMDb trivia, and I'll watch this again someday and look out for it. But that's great.
So,
verify this.
let's see. They managed to arrange melting snow with a fire hose, but they couldn't get some prop guns.
Nope, they couldn't.
All right, that's cool.
Additionally, 2 early screening copies of this movie were given to theaters under the name Cinnamon.
Now, if you haven't seen this movie, there is a integral scene where Benjamin Gates, played by Nicolas Cage, has to complete the Cinnamon Challenge to get the Codex, which solves the murder of his uncle who killed Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
Something like that.
it's a big thing. I think that actually inspired the Cinnamon Challenge. It was people were all it first started around the time of this movie, and because I think YouTube was just like a year old when this came out, and then people were like, yeah, the National Treasure 2, it's like, it's the big hot thing, and
And speaking of big hot things, a spoonful of cinnamon.
I thought you were gonna say me.
Well,
We can get to first base again. I'm sorry.
If our moms are listening, there's no Game of Thrones shit going on. We're just doing jokes. We're fun. We're a couple fun guys.
It's funny. We are funny people.
It's just guys being guys, locker room talk.
talk. We're gonna fuck each other from time to time.
Well, yeah, that's all I got for fun facts. So,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the only other fun fact that I had was about how the shooting schedule at Mount Rushmore interrupted a high school prom that was happening. So like Disney offered to pay for their prom or something. It's like, go away. We're filming a freaking Nicolas Cage movie here.
yeah, look, you in a couple of years, you're not even gonna remember your fucking prom. Everyone's gonna remember this movie.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
If you look, when they're inside Mount Rushmore, if you look in the background, there's a bunch of people in puffy dresses, clearly waiting for the crew to move out.
So they can start playing Good Riddance, The Time of Your Life. And
the biggest song of 2007.
Hey, man, it's been a prom song for all eternity since then.
I didn't go to prom, so I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it is.
Okay. I would have picked American Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Frickin' the bleeped version where he doesn't say the F slur.
Yeah, that's too rude for
Yeah.
children. Can't hear him saying "fuck America." Well, we have to.
Nope.
We gotta bleep that.
Oop.
So I just found out while I was trying to find that gum thing, which I couldn't find, by the way.
I did not make that up. I swear it is in the
Yeah,
IMDb.
sure. But apparently National Treasures 3 is still in development, where they said they're getting close on the script.
Really?
Yeah.
It genuinely
been 12
surprises
years.
me that this is not a franchise that has kept going. Like I know most people I talked to didn't really care for the second one, but it's Disney and they love money, and it's never stopped them from continuing a dead franchise. So,
But I don't think there's been people who are like, I hate National Treasure 2.
right,
They're all just like, the first one's better.
yeah, it's
Which-
a diminishing return, but
But like,
would you see a new
still
one?
fun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And also, isn't there? I kept seeing ads for this a while back. I think there's like a Hulu show called National Treasure now. Don't think it's related in any way.
I found that while I was trying to Google for information about this movie. Yeah.
And did you get a synopsis on that? Is it?
No, I didn't. I assumed it wasn't related. And it
I
didn't
think
have
that
Nicolas
one's like
Cage,
a
so I didn't
political
care.
drama.
And this isn't.
You got me.
Damn. Owned.
It's very political.
Yeah, I mean, and also translates very, very well into the current fascist state of the country, because there's a scene where Nicolas Cage kidnaps the president, traps him underground, and now, let me tell you this. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay.
So
Now we're on a list.
I've been on a list. If not actually tweeting something out, but saving it in your drafts still pings the Secret Service, I'm in trouble.
It might. So let's get into a little plot summary here. This one has a plot that you may have not heard. I'm not going to go super in depth with it because it's one of those thrillers where it moves a mile a minute, and a lot of the things that happen along the way, while very consequential in the moment, are ultimately not all that consequential.
And they're all like very specific things. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of bridge gaps all over the place, and a full synopsis would just be confusing and stupid. So
So, opens up, John Wilkes Booth is assassinating Abe Lincoln after he met with some conspirators beforehand who were known as the Knights of the Gold Circle. I took very specific note of that, even though it was never referenced again.
Yep.
definitely seemed like it was going to be.
And then Cage and his pappy, they're given a presentation about them. And a guy from the audience is like, oh yeah, well, your ancestor that was involved in the conspiracy and apparently burned this diary page that had a map to treasure. I should have explained all that before I started talking about this guy,
yeah.
but
Yeah, there's an opening scene where we see the ancestor of Ben Gates, who's like obviously it runs in the family. They
Master
like to,
of puzzles.
yeah, they like to solve puzzles, decipher shit. And he recognizes some old code, and then given to him by John Wilkes Booth, who then goes to Pop Pop Bang. JFK, is it in the back of the head? Or
I believe it was Andrew Garfield.
yes, Andrew Garfield. He shoots him in the back of the head. Sic Semper Tyrannis, etc., etc. And Benjamin Gates, his handwriting is on some piece of paper implicating him in.
Oh yeah, he threw it in the fire supposedly, but then this guy in the crowd is like, "Well, this page has been in my family for generations." Doesn't explain why it's been in his family. Would seem to imply that that guy's family was involved in the thing, because the guy who took it out of the fire was a fellow conspirator.
Do you guys
assassin.
not put together that he's a descendant of John Wilkes Booth?
I didn't put that.
That's why his last name's Wilkinson.
Oh, I
Did
thought
you
his
guys
name-
not pay attention?
I thought
to
his
the
name
movie?
was Don Wilkes Booth, and I didn't think it was related at all. I was fixated on the fact that he's the frickin' man in black from frickin' Westworld, you guys.
He is.
And he's fantastic and dreamy, and I don't care
He's a
what
good
his
bad
name
guy.
is. He's a very good bad guy. And I didn't remember that he was in this movie, but I was happy to see him. So
Yeah, basically he shows up and is like, "Well, Nick Cage, your ancestors also are fucks."
Yeah.
And Nick Cage is like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So then they go on a treasure hunt.
Yeah, so then he goes on a treasure hunt to prove his ancestors' innocence. And I gotta be honest, if someone said to me in public, like, your ancestors are fucks, I would have probably been like, yeah, probably. Like, shit. Like, I don't fucking...
who were the good people back then? I don't know, but I'm not willing to bet on my family being the good ones.
Yeah.
But he's like so passionate about it that he has to go through this whole insane thing to clear the name of his ancestor.
That page has a clue to a statue, which has a clue to these desks, which has a clue to Mount Rushmore, which has El Dorado inside of
City of Gold.
Basically, the outside of Mount Rushmore is the road to El Dorado.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Good movie, by the way.
Better than this movie, maybe.
Maybe. I'm not sure which one I would like more.
We'll put
I
those
have
two.
not seen it.
You should watch El Dorado or Road to El Dorado. It's a pretty good animated movie.
I do like animation. Which is weird because I didn't like the previous movie in this thing.
Actually, it wasn't the previous movie what spurred on your interest in animation.
Oh, yes. I forgot. I'm part of the Christmas Carol crew, the originator.
Christmas Carol Crew. And those are all spelled with K's. He's part of the KKK.
Oh, God.
Confirmed.
But yeah, so in case... I mean, if you haven't seen the last movie, like, what the fuck were you doing in 2005 when that came out? Like, you saw the goddamn movie. So
What were you doing that was so important? You can see a national treasure.
yeah, he had
And if I'm being honest, if you've seen the first one, haven't seen the second one, you should go watch the second one.
Yeah, why not?
If you like the first one, you'll probably enjoy the second one.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
more of the same.
It's not as good, but it's more national treasure. What's not to like?
Yeah.
But yeah, in that movie, he had an assistant named Riley who worked with him in computer tech shit. And then
He's the nerd.
Then there was a lady who worked government jobs in like the Smithsonian and stuff, and she's named Abigail. Now, I didn't remember their names, but this is the first movie we've watched so far where I didn't have to go look up their names. I got them from watching the movie.
Yes, that is true.
And I don't know if you realize how exciting that was for me for once, but like,
A
to
movie
actu-
with interesting characters?
Yeah, a movie where the characters' names are told to me and I don't have to Google them. Like,
Don't watch a friggin' show called friggin' Game of Thrones then. You know what I'm saying?
I suppose, yeah. Well, I mean, I think they give people names in that show. My problem is while watching it, there were so many names that I could not fucking remember what any of them were.
And also that last season was trash.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that too.
last 3 seasons. And so in this movie, Nicolas Cage is wearing. Did you take note of what he's wearing?
I may have forgotten and only realized in the last like 30 minutes of the movie, but he was wearing a brown leather jacket in those last 30 minutes.
Nope, we're skipping that corner if you don't have it prepared.
Oh,
He's wearing a brown leather jacket made by freaking Michael Kors, probably.
Yeah, who knows?
Or something.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's brown. It's leather. Reminds me of Indiana Jones, which this movie kind of,
It's a modern Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even more like Indiana Jones in that he was dressed like a Nazi for the other half of the movie. And so, yeah, there's that. And that was the fashion report.
Hey, so yeah, in the since the previous movie, they became rich at the end of the previous movie, because they found that big ass treasure, the national treasure.
Yes, and I do remember, like, the thing that I remember specifically about the very ending of National Treasure is that Riley like drives off in a Ferrari.
Yep.
And they won't let you forget that in this movie.
Nope, because
I think it's a funny thing to be like, oh, he's driving off in a Ferrari, and then right away this one's like, yeah, your Ferrari's getting towed.
Yeah.
it's being repossessed by the IRS because he owes a lot in back taxes that he's not paying for. And then also Cage and the girl from the last one, Abigail, who got together at the end of the last movie, are now split up.
Damn.
Marriage on the rocks. Yeah.
Wait,
And,
were they married? Or
I don't know if they were married, but they were living together.
Okay, I figured they were just like slamming it together.
Were they living in sin?
They definitely had to have been.
So yeah.
That's okay because they're true patriots.
So she kicked him out of the house. Him and Riley decide to... Cage gets Riley involved somehow. I don't know why. Riley's like, yeah, I need money, so I guess I'll help you search for more treasure because I owe a lot in taxes.
I mean,
And
if you came to me and were like, hey, I found a legit treasure map, do you want to go hunt for treasure? I'd be going like, hell yeah, I'll hunt for treasure.
Yeah, and if you came to me and said that, I would say, first order of business, let's break into your ex's house.
Yeah, so they break into her house because she works in like the National Archives and they want to get access to the John Wilkes Booth diary because there's a cipher on a page that leads to a treasure map on it. She gets mad, but they convince her to help. They get a printout page of the code. It needs a keyword for a cipher. Cage talks to his dad. I'm going through a lot of details here, but essentially they figure out that they need to go look for the guy who made the Statue of Liberty. And he made 3 statues of Liberty. So they go to France, and then bam. Like, yeah, it's all over the place. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of if there's anything in between worth noting.
No.
Not really. John Voight plays his dad.
Oh, yeah.
Again. He was in the first one also.
They have a really long car chase. Like,
Oh, yeah.
very long car chase. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I could take out of that whole series is just like, that car chase went on and on and on.
Oh, also, I want to say, when they go to, because there's 3 statues of Liberty, apparently. One of them's in France, and they go to the one in France and find an inscription there that leads them to Buckingham Palace that
Nice.
that they break into. And the way Cage deduces that they have to go to Buckingham Palace from the inscription that they found on the inside of that Statue of Liberty is just like fucking word salad. It reminds me of like the Half-Life 3 memes, where it's like Half-Life 3 confirmed because, like 69 has 69 numbers in it, and so does my phone, and like my phone is a Samsung Galaxy S8, and like
I didn't think it was that complicated.
I mean he made some serious leaps of faith on it.
I mean, the clue was Resolute Twins, and he's like, oh,
Which I
Resolute
would have
desks.
taken to be the Resolute Twins across the sea. I would have taken to be like those 2 statues of Liberty, which I guess is, I'm not a good treasure hunter, so.
But there's 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
So maybe that's how you can like be like, okay, knock that out. What are other famous Resolute things with Resolute in the name?
yeah, Resolute Twins, like the Twin Towers.
What is with you and my phone today?
Never forget is the thing. So
Yeah, it seems like Zach's forgotten. But
So the evil diary man who accused Cage of being evil, or his ancestor being evil, his name is Mitch Wilkinson, and he breaks into Cage's house, taps their phones, so he's following them around. He always knows what they're doing. And
Oh, that was a funny scene when he breaks in and like copies the phone over. Like I actually looked at what like the computer was saying, and it's just like, yeah, this is a phone. Its Bluetooth is on. And it's just like nothingness where it's like, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, you're just holding a phone.
Yeah.
He's trying to connect his headset to the phone.
Mm.
I mean, that's how you hack stuff anyway, so.
Yeah, it's all through Bluetooth.
Yeah, and the cloud.
If
So-
your Bluetooth cloud gets hacked, ooh,
Ooh, that's how they find pictures of your penis, even if you haven't taken them.
Oh.
they take them.
So, oh yeah, at this point, I should point out that apparently Cage's mother and his father's ex-wife is a linguist with an expertise in like pre-Columbian American society. And yeah, so like they find these maps in the Queen's desk. They go to her and they bring his dad along and they hate each other, but this is relevant because this whole movie is about love rekindled. Because everybody ends up together at the end. And
And it's about a love of your nation rekindled.
exactly. And a love for your ancestors rekindled. Because you found out they're not so bad. They didn't assassinate the president. They were probably just racist slave owners who supported the president.
And
They assassinated other people who didn't have important jobs.
Yeah.
And John Wilkes Booth's descendant refines his love of America.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah, and it turns
Oh, I'm
out
gonna take a piss, so here's a good chance to talk some wild shit. Here we go.
Dave
Wait,
sucks.
Dave's here still?
I
thought we
forgot
fired him.
He was even in the building.
But yeah, so they go through that. They bring it back, a painting from the Resolute desk in Buckingham Palace. They realize that it's only half the map, so they have to get the one out of the other desk, which is in the Oval Office of the President. So they break
How
in
the
there.
heck are they gonna get in there?
I like how you had to specify for the president. What Oval Office do people know about?
I'm currently turning my office into an oval, so
Yeah, but like, no one else would know that.
The okay.
well, they
for-
all do now, and it's good to have the information retroactive.
in this freaking administration, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn it to a freaking like rhombus or something.
The rhombus office.
Yeah, so this might be dated by the time it comes out. So yeah, what I was gonna quick ask is that so the friggin' desk is in the Oval Office. How the heck are they getting?
Oh,
How the heck are they gonna get in there?
yeah.
They're just gonna get the dad from Modern Family.
Let me.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Which, yes, when Abigail and Cage went their separate ways, she began dating the dad from Modern Family, who, before he was in a Modern Family, was working as a Secret Service agent.
Yes.
Or some
and-
sort of White House press job, something. I
He
don't know.
works for the White House as the events coordinator or some bullshit job.
Yeah.
But
Now-
basically, he can get them into the Oval Office
Yep.
of the president.
of the
Of the president.
United
You can't get him into
States-
mine.
the United States president.
Yes.
Now, let me give you a little bit of insider info. I have been in the White House. That is true. And you would be surprised how much freaking security they got in this place.
Yeah.
They got more freaking metal detectors than a freaking, like,
Public school?
gun contest.
Oh.
Wait, don't they not have a lot there? Or do they have metal detectors to make sure that you have a gun?
They don't have any there. That's why I'm saying they have more metal detectors than a gun contest. And they're so uptight there that I got yelled at as like a 12-year-old kid for touching. There was a wall made of carpet and I touched the carpet and some dude with a headset yelled at me. So how the frick is Benjamin gonna get in there?
Nah. Well, they make it because that lady seduces her boyfriend.
President.
I guess it's not really that much of seduction, but
Ever just friggin' seduce your significant other? Drug them.
and they go in there, and then in order to allow Cage to open the desk, they go through the worst plan in history, I feel like, where she's just like, I lost an earring, help me find it.
It's under this desk.
Yeah, and Cage, it's like, you guys look over there together, I'm gonna look at the president's desk.
Where my earring is.
And they start digging through. And
I'm sorry, Nick, that you haven't had to try anything you can to impress a girl. You can just be your natural self and get people.
And hey, let's not forget, it's not that abnormal to have a freaking earring under the president's desk after freaking Bill Clinton was in office.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't get it.
No, well. Because freaking Jeffrey Epstein was under there.
All right, I'm back to actively ignore your whack asses.
Who is talking? Did you hear him?
Weird.
It's like a whiny
Nick,
voice.
was that you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I called your voice whiny. It was just for a second there.
that's
It sounded
okay. It's
like
whiny.
fucking stupid for a second. So,
I think that was me. I spaced out for a minute. I assume I was talking.
So basically,
so we're in the White House.
they find like the same compartment as the other desk, but the thing's missing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, there's some weird seal."
Where'd it go?
And
then Riley's like, I wrote a book and you didn't read it. I wrote about this seal and it's the president's book of secrets, which up until this point, I assumed John Wilkes Booth's diary was the book of secrets, but no.
I figured Riley's book. I mean,
I think you could say any of those would qualify as a book of secrets.
Yeah.
that's true because there was a book signing that nobody was at the beginning of this movie. So you could put anything you want in Riley's book. Nobody's going to read it.
It's true. Yeah. So they find out that the president has a book that is handed down from every other president. No one else gets to read it. Only the president. Still feel like some national security advisors would get in on that somehow, but you know, whatever.
And friggin' probably Oprah and shit's read that shit.
Yeah.
It's the book of the month.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And no one read it somehow. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's the Book of Secrets is exactly what it sounds like. It's the book that has all the Area 51 and Bigfoot information in it.
And the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
And something on page 47.
That's actually the thing they put in for National Treasure 3,
Okay.
but still in development.
Wait, the page 47 thing?
Yep.
Ah.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that, I guess, when we talk about the kidnapping of the president that we're
That's
gonna
like
do
the
later.
next
But
spot right now.
Oh.
So
yeah. Oh yeah. So Cage is like, okay, well, in order to get to this book of secrets, I have to kidnap the president, and he just so badly wants to clear his ancestor's name that he's going to kidnap the goddamn president and probably die for treason.
After already breaking into the White House, you might as well.
Yeah.
Also,
the only part that I thought was weird, so like he kidnaps the president. I mean, kidnap I think is a strong word. Like they
Yeah.
totally could have played it off as like, oh, the secret tunnel closed on us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
there
the-
was so many ways they could have explained that away
Yes.
without like.
Say he kidnapped him.
Yeah.
But for some reason they're just like, oh yeah, we kidnapped him. And it was just like, okay, I can't tell anyone why you kidnapped me.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't like why couldn't you just lie or like not lie, but just be like, yeah, the tunnel closed and we got out.
Yeah, he could have just said that. There was no reason for him not to.
They
Yeah.
really overcomplicated that whole situation. Like, it's already a complicated situation when you're trapping the president underground, which, again, we should do it. But yeah, there's just when you put that much thought into this plan, but not that much thought into explaining it away, it doesn't make sense.
It just seems like a weird thing to like have the reason why the FBI's after him. Like you could have made up a ton of different reasons, like breaking in to get that book.
Yeah.
But no, there's like, yeah, you kidnapped the president.
And
Even though
also,
the
I want to let
president's
you guys
fine.
know real quick. Sorry to cut you off. Sad news. The instant button no longer works.
Oh, you're fucking kidding
the
me.
fuck?
So that's a bit that's dead. I'm sorry, I can't hit you with you anymore.
All right, we're just gonna have to find another soundboard that loses listeners. Let's see.
The Lil Jon soundboard.
we haven't used that in a minute.
I haven't. Yeah, that was I'll bring it up again soon. But yeah.
Oh, there it was.
So
You flipped.
okay.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll take that one.
So Cage goes to a president's party that he sneaks into.
We can skip all that. We
Yeah.
just did.
It's true. Yeah. He traps him in a tunnel underground by trying to convince him to go there. The president has no sense of self-preservation and goes into this tunnel with this man he barely met. And gets the shit. They find the book, determine they need to go to Mount Rushmore, and narrowly avoid the FBI coming to arrest them at the Library of Congress, where this
Super
book will take.
easy to freaking duck the FBI. Also, speaking of skipping stuff, I feel like maybe he could have skipped a couple steps and just like break into the friggin' Library of Congress. And,
Oh, yeah. Well, he
burn it
didn't
down.
know it was there.
Come on.
I mean, they could have cut down the movie and just said like, "Oh yeah, this book is in the Library of Congress." But
Yeah. They could have. I mean, this did need something to cut somewhere at this point because I feel like
the whole president thing is probably where you could have cut.
Yeah.
Just
But they got to raise the stakes from last time. Before they stole the Declaration of Independence. Now
They
they
stole the
steal the president.
And actually, it's funny because the Book of Secrets actually shares the same name as the film National Treasure Book of Secrets.
The Bush of Secrets.
After 2001, that's what the book became.
Yeah, so Mitch Wilkinson kidnaps Cage's mom because he intercepts a photo of the other half of the map, and they kidnap her and take her to Mount Rushmore to stop Cage from getting it because he's the one who wants to find the treasure. He's finding it for the glory of his family and ancestors.
Yeah, because
And-
he wants to make it so the name Wilkes isn't bad for killing Abraham Lincoln. It's so like his motivation is kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say,
His
if,
method's not so hot. He's threatening
No.
people at gunpoint. And
if somebody told me that there was like some nasty information about my ancestors, and all I had to do to clear their name was like drive down to the post office, I wouldn't do that. And we're already at the fucking Mount Rushmore here.
I mean, also there's a city of gold at stake.
well, that's
so
true.
I mean,
But I wouldn't have even gotten to this point because if somebody told me my ancestors killed Abraham Lincoln, I would have been like, fucking rad, dude. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So they all go into Mount Rushmore. There's a scene where they all like fall on a giant plate and they have to balance it out right because it's only supported on a single peg. And they manage to get through with some creative thinking, and they all get out of it. And then they find the City of Gold underneath Mount Rushmore after some puzzle solving, and they're like, "Yeah!"
They're
And
good at these puzzles.
They are good at these puzzles. And then they want to get the fuck out of there. So what do?
More puzzles.
More
basically.
puzzles. Yeah. They find like a door that, as the place is flooding with water, is a drainage door, but like they have to open the door, get on the other side, and close it, or otherwise the tunnel will fill with water and they'll all drown on their way out.
So somebody has to stay behind.
Somebody has to stay behind and hold open that door. And I just noticed my notes say an odor that requires someone to keep it open, not a door. Okay.
you have to smell correctly.
Yeah, and well, I have one quick question because I can't remember. Who the heck's gonna stay behind?
Well, Mitch ain't staying behind. No. He's gonna make Ben Gates stay behind, aka Nicolas Cage. And then, so they go to do that, and then immediately the plan falls apart, and Wilkinson is the one holding the door open, and he's just like, you know what, it's not gonna work out. Just go and tell them that I found it. Please, clear my family's name. And Cage is like, okay. And they get out, and Wilkes dies. And
Oops.
so then they meet with the president, and the president pardons Cage, or
Yeah,
I guess
he says
He's
Cage
basically
saved
like-
his life.
Yeah, like the thing they could have said from the beginning, like, "Oh, we got trapped in the tunnel."
Yeah. First,
Yeah.
they had to spend millions of taxpayers' dollars mounting a cross-country investigation to find this guy, who he was just gonna pardon anyways.
Yeah.
So, like,
Took them the duration of the movie to figure out the simplest answer.
mhm.
So
And an archaeological dig begins in the site of the City of Gold. Cage's dad and mom get back together, and Cage and Abigail get back together.
But I think the
And
most
love is
important
found.
one is that Riley gets his car back.
Which I just want to say, I thought this is a movie about America, right? This is the most American thing I've ever heard. Okay, so Riley, a rich guy, had a large tax burden, and the president personally gave this man a tax break so that he could keep his car that was going to be repossessed by the IRS.
And not an American car.
Yeah. And what's more American than the president giving a rich guy a tax break, really?
This movie is friggin' basically the reason I was mad that this movie was so long is because I was freaking standing up and saluting the whole time.
Yeah.
And my arm was getting tired.
I don't know. I like this movie.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I all I remembered about it before watching it was that as a kid, I didn't care for it as much as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's still a fun movie to watch. I love a good puzzle solving movie with America.
I didn't really remember anything about it. I remembered that they were in Mount Rushmore looking for like a city of gold, and somehow the Lincoln assassination was involved. But that was all I remembered. But this I mean, it had some dumb stuff, but like, I mean, this isn't supposed to be like a brilliant, amazing movie. It's supposed to be just a fun, puzzle solvy.
We said it
Indiana
before.
Jonesy thing.
It's really like a modern Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
Disney-Anna Jones.
just minus Nazis.
Minus Nazis.
Sucks.
And we did not see that coming.
But yeah, it's fun. I think it's got some cool stuff in it. It's got some cool car chase sequences. It's got some witty lines that are pretty funny, and some that fall really flat. But
We're not saying this is like an amazing movie. Everyone go out and watch it now. But like, if you're bored one night,
Everyone go out and watch it now.
It's one of those movies where it's like you sit down at night, you're just like, yeah, let's watch a movie. Why not this one?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a fun, just like toss on type of movie.
Yeah.
I will say
And that's the same for the first one too. It's just like
nothing profound, but a good time.
I will say you shouldn't be going out and watching it now because you should have watched it last week before this episode came out to keep up with us, you fools.
Yeah, which I didn't. And again, you can check my Letterboxd, but it's very easy to fake that information. But I mean, yeah, go out and see it now if you haven't seen it. It's freaking like $5 on Amazon probably.
this is one of the rare movies for this podcast that's just like, you know what? I had a good time watching this.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot less dread this time around, which
Oh yeah,
was
definitely.
good. Well, I mean, for the most part, I don't want to spoil my
Yeah,
my freaking.
I gotta say, actually, this time I was kind of looking forward to it. I was like, finally, I'm getting to National Treasure, something that I know I'm at least going to be mildly okay with. Whereas, like, last time was the last episode? It was 211 and Inconceivable. They've all gotten kind of fucking jumbled
I
around
don't know.
in my
It
head.
was two bad
Two
movies.
terrible movies, so I'm gonna
So
say
probably.
yes.
But yeah, it wasn't two no-name things. It was one well-known thing where this particular version wasn't well-known, and another fairly well-known thing where this particular version wasn't as well-known, but it was all right. It was
pretty
good.
okay.
It was solid. So yeah.
I think it's gonna be clear which one goes through.
Yeah,
but-
if you didn't figure it out from the first half, where
The Christmas Carol crew is friggin' clenching so hard right now. It's okay, guys. Stick with it. Stick with it. We'll be okay.
so shall we bring this to a vote?
Yeah, I think we need a countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Engineer Dave, you got that countdown?
What?
Yeah. Countdown?
Nah.
I'm
okay.
surprised he even knew that we were addressing him, honestly. I gotta give him props for that.
I listen more than you guys think, just not as much as I should.
Which it really should be at this point, not at all, because you should be fired. But
Who's gonna hit record then?
And also, I got to apologize. I just realized. So we've been talking about getting a new engineer for quite a while now. I thought I had published the job listing on Monster.com, but I actually just typed it into a notepad document. So
That is why you sent a link to the Monster music video.
yes,
And I was like, oh, that's a good song, but like, why are you sending this when you're supposed to be listening to job posting?
yeah.
Monster
So
video, monster job posting, monster mash, doesn't matter. This is how job security works in America.
national security, job security, fuck it, let's get Dave out of this house. I don't know. That was I
Yeah,
was
can
trying to
we
go for
also
something.
just kick him out of his home?
Yeah, we not only need a new engineer, but we also want to make a man homeless, which is the real root of this.
Now that's American job security.
How are you going to have access to national pleasure without me?
A fair point. I will talk to some people.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did have kind of a fling with the drummer, so
So,
I could work
quit.
my way back in there.
what movie
He
wins?
quit?
Yeah, he quit a few episodes ago, don't you remember?
Oh yeah, shit, I do.
Wait, that was the drummer?
Yeah.
Arlo's back. There's some big news brewing, though. Big news brewing. I'm not going to tell you right now because you guys have spent a lot of time insulting me on this podcast. But I'll tell you soon.
The saddest part is we spent a lot more time than he even realizes.
So,
Can we
okay,
get a countdown?
Countdown. It's
Nah.
yeah. 3, 2, 1.
National Treasure
National
to Book of
Treasure
Secrets.
to Book of Secrets Christmas Carol the movie.
Oh, you put both of them together. So there's 2 winners.
Christmas Carol Crew.
National Treasure wins.
Yeah,
I
National
rule.
Treasure won
National
this one.
Treasure wins. Yeah, it
No
wasn't
surprise.
wasn't even a hard choice. I basically knew as soon as I looked at the titles for these movies, which one I was going to pick. What do we got coming up next? We have
That's
the
what I'm checking out right now.
Humanity Bureau,
That sounds
a
interesting.
movie that we've all heard of and love, versus Trespass, which is a word from the Lord's Prayer and not anywhere else that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
feel
about
like-
those from those signs you see everywhere? No trespassing.
Oh, I
But
ignore
on the
those.
backside,
Yeah,
they
the
didn't
best
say
verse,
nothing.
That Woody Guthrie song that they edit heavily and make kids sing.
Yep. I
Well,
was just gonna say.
I feel like the Nicolas Cage movies where it's just like one word titles don't do so well.
Mm-mm.
Like Knowing, Arsenal,
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Hey, Knowing was one of the better ones we watched.
Knowing was better, but like it's those are great.
Yeah.
So basically,
I think it's more the 3 and 2 word, such as Left Behind and Pay the Ghost.
No, yeah. Well, I mean,
G the Force.
gee, the force.
Oh,
Humanity
wait.
Bureau.
Never mind.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah, Humanity Bureau and Trespass. So there's that, and then we got just one more episode in between.
2017.
And then after that, 2 episodes away, we get to Ghost Rider 2, and we'll
Wait
be
a
on our
minute.
next sequel,
Hell
our second
yeah.
sequel.
Ghost Rider 2, Book of Secrets.
Electric Boogaloo.
Humanity Bureau. In the future, global warming turns parts of the American Midwest into a desert. In its attempt to take hold of an economic recession, a government agency called the Humanity Bureau exiles members of society deemed unproductive and banishes them to a colony known as New Eden.
Oh,
I mean,
That
this
is not
sounds.
what I was expecting.
It wasn't what I was expecting at all, but it sounds kind of interesting.
It does sound
actually.
Yeah, that
Interesting.
got way more interesting than I thought it would.
I do hope though they spend a lot of time, trying to convince us that global warming's real.
Oh, yeah.
Because that'll take me right out of it if they're just like global warming killed everything, and I'm like, yeah, okay, honey.
I watched Snowpiercer. It's gonna get real cold.
Yeah.
I watched Snowpiercer, and whoever didn't like it is a friggin' flake.
Yeah.
So
And all the people that will be ruined by this will just sell their houses and move anyway, so it'll be fine.
yeah.
The Humanity Bureau is the first Nicolas Cage sci-fi movie since Knowing.
Ooh.
What year did that come out?
2009.
Oh,
Or Humanity Bureau or Knowing?
Humanity Bureau.
Came out in 2009.
No, 2017.
Oh, okay.
Knowing was 2009.
Well,
Well,
what is
I'm-
Mandy? Is that sci-fi? Would you call it that?
I would call it. I
but
mean,
that
it-
just came out last year, so it'd still be after this. But
yeah. I mean, I would call it more of a, I guess, horror movie, but I don't know. It's hard to classify. It has some sci-fi elements for sure.
mm-hmm.
But I don't want to give too much away, because I wrote that movie.
Oh shit. Okay.
Anyway, we gotta go.
Yeah. So that's it. Join us next time for those movies. Watch those movies. One of them sounds interesting. You should at least watch that one. And the other one is Trespass. And just trespass. Don't read those signs that say don't trespass.
Yeah, go wherever you want. This is God's land.
This land was made for you and me.
Hell
Hey.
yeah. Hey, you know, I'm starting to like Dave again after that. A little bit of rootin' tootin' American hollering. So,
Trespass
yeah.
has Nicole Kidman.
oh.
Well, we'll see you all next time. This has been Cage Fight.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Cage Fight.
Bye.
See you next time. See you
He's
next
saying
time.
bye for good.
See you next week, motherfucker.
Cage fight. Oh yeah. Cage fight. Here goes Cage.
This has been a Solid Work production.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.